All right, guys, welcome back. Hope you're all doing well for this Thursday evening. We'll get started here in just a second. Just relaxing this evening and listening to my dad's tunes. Hope you're all doing well. Have not seen my dad since summer of 2019 because of this pandemic. Anyway, that's a different story, but I hope you guys are all doing well. We'll get to the story, the main topic here for this evening in a moment. Like I said, I'm just chilling to my dad's tunes in the background. Before I begin, a couple of updates. I hope to have a couple of musical guests, live concerts before the end of the year. No confirmed dates yet. Slim Man, I believe, will be back for a Christmas concert. He has a few original holiday tunes and hoping to get somebody else to join in. One of the best sax players in the world from Pittsburgh, if you like jazzy music. So I'll keep you guys up to date on all that. All right. Secondly, I got a brief message from Stephanie. She's doing fine. I believe she's back in the States. She wanted me to tell you guys hello. And I think she's going to go back online here in next year, January or February. She'll be back posting some more stuff, so we're all looking forward to that. And welcome back, Stephanie. Yay! All right. All right. Many of you guys will watch this on the replay, and that's fine. Before we go into the topic, there's something about the pandemic that apparently brings out the most creativity in people and players. I saw this headline today, and I almost fell off my chair. But for whatever reason, Halo, the Xbox, Microsoft, the classic game Halo, has been around now, 20 years. The Halo Infinite players are learning how to communicate through teabag dancing. I'm not going to go into this in depth. There are so many jokes here. I can't go on because this is a family channel. I don't know how to start it. I guess these guys don't like Skype or Zoom or Google Meet or Jitsi or any other social messaging platforms, but they are. Anyway, you can search the article for yourself. This is on IGN. I don't know what else to say except to move on. Like I said, this is a family channel. Let's move on. All right, so this is an article. Let me see if I can split screen here. Okay. This is an article. Openforeveryone.net. Okay. And interesting perspective on the fragmented Linux desktop and the problem LTT went through, Linus. He has two videos out, which I have a couple of reaction videos to both the videos. I don't think I'll do another one if he has another video out. But basically, it was a Linux gaming challenge, and according to this article here, it takes only 2 minutes and 48 seconds of viewing time in this new video to realize how fractured and confusing desktop Linux can be for beginners, even for technically savvy beginners like Linus. Okay. So the goal for part 2 was straightforward: get their Linux desktops prepared for game streaming, integrating existing cameras and audio equipment. Fair enough. All right, let's scroll down some here. More here. Sudo apt-get confusion. Good one. But one glaring issue came into focus along the way. It has nothing to do with the user's technical prowess. It has everything to do with fragmentation, misinformation, and this is something that the father of modern-day Linux agrees with, Linus Torvalds. He spoke about this a couple years ago, about the fragmentation of the Linux desktop and the success of Chromebooks as at the very least, as a Linux standard. But that's a different topic. So in part 1 of the video series, Linus had a disaster with System 76's Pop! OS. This was an unfortunate bug that was patched. By the way, KDE now also prevents users from removing the Plasma desktop. Why would that be an option in the first place? That is confusing. All right, so apparently LTT cut his teeth, has experience, I guess, in Debian and Ubuntu-based distributions, which makes sense. He would use sudo apt-get. Of course, Manjaro is Arch-based, and it uses a completely different package manager called Pacman. No, not the game. Of course, Linus tried to type this in terminal, sudo apt-get OBS Studio. Of course, I'm not going to go into that if you guys know what's going on. The Linux way, pick your poison. Okay, according to this article, there are 4 separate ways to install OBS Studio Manjaro. Okay. From the Snap Store, Flatpak, the package manager, or 7 available options from the Arch the Arch user repository. 7 options. No, of course not. Why would that be confusing for a beginner, right? On the Windows and Mac OS, there is one common way to install OBS Studio. Okay. He talks about the issue with NVIDIA. The version of OBS Studio he installed from Manjaro Software Center lacks something crucial for NVIDIA users, NVENC. NVENC takes advantage of purpose-built hardware inside modern GeForce graphics cards. It is an excellent solution for streamers and content creators. Okay, cool. Linus's disappointment upon discovering that he can't use NVENC is palpable. Then he screenshots a 2-year-old Reddit post stating that NVIDIA's NVENC isn't supported on Linux. Okay, all right, I won't go too much into that. That's not entirely true, of course. Scrolling down here, the versions of OBS Studio and Debian and Ubuntu repositories also support NVIDIA's hardware encoding. Had Linus installed the Snap version on Manjaro, he'd be ready to rock with NVENC. But how would Linus know that? How would anyone, honestly? I didn't know that. I mean, I'm happy that it works with the Snap. How would they know unless they practically cemented into the Linux echo chamber? Okay. Let's scroll down some here. The Linux Gaming Challenge is going to ruffle the feathers of many a Linux diehard if you count yourself among those ranks because you feel offended, or you believe Linus is dumb, or you believe it's all just an elaborate ploy to get clicks, or because you think it's perfectly acceptable for everyday users to implement hacky solutions to simple issues. You might be part of the problem. Interesting perspective. Within 3 minutes, this writer says, I actually felt embarrassed for Manjaro. I saw its outdated and clunky graphics driver menu through fresh eyes. All right, I won't read the rest of this article, but I'm just bringing this up, food for thought, as it were, just a different observation about what's going on here with the fragmentation on the desktop Linux, at least for beginners. It really hasn't gotten better unless you pick and choose the specific Linux desktops if you are a beginner. That's what I try to do here on the Total OS Today Technology channel. In terms of the few quality distributions out there, it has gotten better. There's more than one. There's your Linux Mints, your Ubuntu Mates, your Zorins, Linux Lite, Peppermint OS. Notice those are Ubuntu based. So, yeah, just something for you to think about. All right, let me take a quick gander here in the chat. Wooden Beast, yeah, the teabagging news. Yeah, look, the pandemic brings out the best creativity in people, doesn't it? I don't know who's the guy that thought of it, but that's pretty funny. Anyway, yeah, it's about OBS Studio. Yeah, Linus having issues with OBS and his first time trying to get the OBS Studio to work. It is a confusing mess, which is my argument for oh, there's Linus texting me a message now. I'll message him back, tell him I'm busy. Ding dong, but no. It's one of my friends telling me the Cowboys game is on. Yeah, this is the reason why we need a global standard desktop, Linux desktop, at least for beginners as a choice. You don't have to use it. I don't have to use it. It's not going to take away the choices from Linux. It will add to the choices for Linux, maybe help Linux grow if we had a choice for a global standard Linux desktop. Wow, 7 ways, 7 versions of OBS Studio in the AUR. Okay. Anyway, that's my thought about all this. Hello, Seeker. How are you this glorious Thursday evening? Warm Thursday evening here in Ohio. It's 45 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a freaking heat wave here in Ohio. Anyway, I just wanted to point this out to you guys. I'll stick around for a little bit longer and call it a night. If you would like to be part of a discussion for a global standard Linux desktop, send me an email. talktotalos@gmail.com. And you, yes, I'm talking to you. Yeah, you talking to me, I'm talking to you. You might be invited for an online chat, if you so choose to. You're doing good? Very good. Yeah, all things considered, I'm doing okay. Had to turn off the news. It's kind of depressing, another variant of the pandemic, of the virus, but my goodness. Anyway, so let me know what you guys think about this article, but I think this just points out another problem, that it's easier to harp on someone who's not that experienced with Linux and to say it's all his fault when it's really almost none of his fault. You know, what Linus is going through is pretty much what I went through, 15 years ago? Pretty much everything I know is self-taught. Is not easy. It can be done, but it's not easy. I think it's a little bit easier today, but yeah, if we had a global standard Linux desktop, I think that would solve the problem. Just a personal observation. That's all I'm saying. Right, Seeker? Right. Anyway, so what's new with you guys? Can't believe it's almost Christmas. About another 3 weeks and another year has gone by. Where does the time go, right? Hope you guys are all healthy and doing well. So I don't know what my plans are yet for this weekend. I don't think it's going to snow or anything. So yeah, we may do something live. We'll see. It's been a challenge to get everybody on the same page for a live show, as it used to be pre-pandemic. Yeah, so. Hello, Linux Addict. Hello from 72 degrees in South Florida. I used to live there. Which part of South Florida? I am surprised that many YouTubers against Linux are not grasping that the concept was about installing Linux as a newcomer. I totally agree. Yeah. Totally agree. Seeker, you're doing a respin called Storm OS with the team. Stormfish OS, okay. Yeah, it was about using Linux primarily for gaming with no help. I don't think they have seen the original Juan video where they outlined what the rules were going to be. Happy holiday. Well, thank you. Happy holidays to you too. Yeah, it's all about a newbie trying Linux, and you know, Linus LTT is. He seems to be taking a lot of flack, and I don't understand it either, but it is what it is, right? I'm sure he'll be fine. He will continue to run things just fine without... I don't think he needs Linux, right? I think he's perfectly fine in Windows. I think he's using Windows 10, so yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem, so yeah. I mean, when I started with Linux back in 06, it wasn't easy, but, you know, I stayed with it because I saw the potential power of using Linux, the potential just in general in a Linux world, a Linux-centric world. And Linux has come a long way, but there's still a lot of work to be done, at least for Windows users. So, and speaking of Windows, Windows 11 has been a complete joy. What can I say? It just works. So yeah. All right, I'll give us a few more minutes, then we'll wrap this up for this evening. If you miss any of this, of course, you can watch this on the replay as usual. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel for future updates, I guess the notification system isn't working for some of you guys. There's really nothing I can do about that. Make sure you subscribe and, click the notification bell. If you're on my email list, I usually send out the email list, to the supporters of the channel, so you'll know what's going on. Other than that, there's really not much else I can do, really. What do you guys think of YouTube removing the dislikes on the videos? I kind of have a neutral feeling about that. Not really for or against it. It doesn't really do anything. Doesn't really affect me that much. So, you guys pretty much tell me what you would, want to see or not see, what's on your mind, but suggestions and stuff like that. So, yeah. For this evening, I'm actually using the Snap version of OBS Studio. I couldn't get text scrolling to work in the Deb version. I don't know what's going on. It's some kind of a bug, but in the Snap version, it appears to work. I'm not sure why, but I'm glad we have choices. Speaking of choices, I'm glad we have choices for snaps. So, yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh! It has been a while. How are you? Long time no see, I know. The notification bell only works for a few big channels. Really? But that's not right. Thank you, Bayal. I think I'm saying your name right. Well, if that's true, that's not fair at all. So I guess you need 1 million subscribers to get the notification. Whatever. Well, sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping the subscribe notification works. Don't you guys get a notification if you just click the subscribe button? I don't know. Okay, so the dislike was useful to send a message. Now companies can pretend that their stuff isn't that bad. Okay. Well, I guess wouldn't it show in the comments? Or something like that? I don't know. The funny thing about likes and dislikes, years ago, and I should have kept it up. I did a video on let's see, Windows 7. Why Windows users can't switch to Linux. It was trying to compare Windows 7, which of course is long outdated, Windows 7 to Linux, and I had I don't remember. I think it was 300 likes and 300 dislikes. You guys can guess who gave me all the likes. You guys can guess who gave me all the dislikes. But that's okay. It was just a matter of perspective. But it was kind of funny. The topics ranged from, dude, you hit the nail on the head, to the flip side, you have no idea what you're talking about. Anyway, it didn't really bother me. But again, it's all a matter of perspective, right? Hello, Ramsey. No notifications, not without the bell. Huh. Okay. Well, that's not very user-friendly, is it? Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, I usually send out emails to all of the supporters of the channel through Patreon or PayPal. I don't have an email aggregator or an email list. I don't, give out your emails. I try to remain as private as possible for everyone, but yeah, that's the only thing I could think of. So if you're on my email list, that's how I send out the email notifications when I'm having a private chat or maybe scheduling something. But That's the only thing I could think of. So if you are a supporter of the channel, you will get an email. Unless you don't want to get an email. Anyway, which is okay too. Hello, Joseph. Howdy. How are you? I should do a show and invite people on. How was your very, very, very first experience into Linux without help? Without help. Just on your own. That would be an interesting conversation, right? I think so. Excuse me, I just had to grab a drink. But Ramsey says, oh dear, the Google journey along with that. Look, when I first started off with Linux in '06 by myself, how do you think I did it by myself? I used Mr. Google or Mr. Firefox or Mr. Whatever. How else am I going to learn? By myself. I live in a town where if you mention Linux, here's the reaction of local people and Linux. Here's their reaction. I'm being totally, they look at me like, no. Yeah. Here it's pretty much Windows or Mac. Pretty much. So there was nobody I could ask except Mr. Google or some of you guys for some advice. I mean, that's real life. And yeah, I did make a lot of mistakes along the way, something that would seem utterly stupid to a advanced user, but I wasn't an advanced user back then. I was a newbie. It's called real life. Anyway. So, yeah. I think we need to be more understanding to newbies to the world of Linux. That's what I've tried to do here with this channel over the years. 11 years of this channel. So Joseph, you're doing a new Plasma theme. Interesting. I saw where somebody has taken the Ubuntu Unity and has released a new version of Ubuntu Unity. That's cool. The last great Ubuntu was Unity, right? I think so. All right, guys. Any last comments before we wrap this up for this evening? Ramsey started Linux journey in 2009 with OzGUI. I remember OzGUI, sure. I used to watch some of his stuff. Absolutely. Yeah, I started this channel in 2010 because at the time I just didn't really see enough good, honest, neutral Linux channels for Windows users. And I thought to myself, instead of complaining, shut up and do something about it. So I did. I started Total OS. And here we are. It's funny that Microsoft Edge is warning users the dangers of downloading Chrome. Okay, I guess they're trying to send a message. You don't want to use Chrome, use Edge. It's more private. Feel the power of the dark website. Just a joke. Anyway. Well, the Cowboys are playing tonight. Should I watch them? I don't know. I guess the head coach got COVID. What a year, right? All right, guys, I'm going to end this for this evening. Always a pleasure chatting with you. Be on the lookout for hopefully another live musical show coming up next week or two, I hope. And maybe one more after that before the year is over. Just for something different, just for fun, you know. Keep things interesting and not just about Linux all the time, right? Right. Okay, that's it. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Arrivederci. Ciao.